How dare. I hope you're proud of yourselves, you racist, fascist, right-wing racisms. Thanks to your distrust of the federal government, we no longer have a disinformation governance board. Thanks to the massive backlash of racist Republicans and fascist libertarians and backstabbing Uncle Tom white supremacist Democrats, we now have the right to consume whatever information that we please, and if you ask me, that's the very definition of fascism. We are a democracy, and in a democracy, the majority gets to do whatever the hell they want, and the minority gets the privilege of sucking off Brian Stelter's super smooth and salty coin purse. Thanks to the disinformed misinformation given to us by the misinformed disinformation mongers like Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson and George Orwell, a fringe minority comprised of mostly a majority of American citizens from coast to coast have protested this completely reasonable department. And I don't think I'm alone in saying that every single one of these bastards got the idea wrong. Just check out the eulogy straight from the DHS's mouth.
It was never about censorship or policing speech in any manner. It was designed to ensure that we fulfill our mission to protect the homeland while protecting core constitutional rights. However, false attacks have become a significant distraction from the department's vitally important work to combat disinformation that threatens the safety and security of American people.
It wasn't about restricting free speech, it was about protecting free speech by restricting certain types of free speech. But thanks to a bunch of conspiracy theorists, the internet is now overrun with so much misinformation that the blacks and browns are gonna have PTSD until the end of time. And just like we've always done, we now have to vet whatever information we consume ourselves, which is total bullshit. If I'm spending all of my time trying to vet information on the internet, how the hell am I gonna find time to jack off to pictures of Bernie Sanders? With all of the massive fusterclucks going on around the globe, Joe Biden has his hands full, and luckily, he dealt with the border crisis appropriately by giving illegal migrants free access to baby formula. But now that the shelves are empty and hospitals are now admitting babies suffering from starvation thanks to no formula, the Biden administration is now on the case once again to solve your problems. They're bravely evoking an emergency act to use the military to import baby formula while allowing the country's largest formula factory to reopen. The solution is dirt cheap too, especially when you think about all of the other bills that we had to pay with our own taxpayer money. Destroying our nation's election integrity. $5 trillion. Funding a neo-Nazi army in Ukraine. $40 billion. Feeding a neo-Nazi army in Ukraine. $500 million. Making sure American babies have enough food to eat. $28 million. Having the knowledge that the federal government cares more about feeding Nazis than our own babies stateside. Priceless? Besides, who gives a shit about starving babies? Got a bigger problem at hand. Bill Gates, a disease expert and massive pedophile, has already predicted that we're gonna have another massive pandemic by the end of the summer. COVID has moved to California to find itself, and the Ponkey Mox is moving in to take over your living space. Now, I know this just sounds like a conspiracy theory, and it probably is, considering that the federal government has already purchased a few million doses of the Ponkey Mox vaccine. That's not suspicious at all. This is totally normal. It's just like when Dr. Anthony Fauci, America's only doctor, personally ordered the destruction of millions of doses of hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin to be destroyed during a massive pandemic. Wait a second. Hang on. Fuck, piss, shit, hydroxychloroquine. What the Christ is going on? Asshole, cock, ivermectin, cunt. Oh, yeah, gotcha. Those words are still banned by the algorithm. Good to know. And even though the Ponkey Mox isn't really all that more deadly than the Koofy Koof, you don't need to worry. The world government has already thought of everything. You don't need to worry about the details. All that matters is that the major world governments have signed a treaty with the WHO, which just means in the event of the pandemic, the World Health Organization, which is filled with people that nobody elected, will have the authority to take over world governments in the event of a pandemic, which will will be enforceable via international law. So naturally, world leaders are flocking to the World Health Organization to sign this treaty because they have absolutely no problem giving up their sovereignty and the freedom of their citizens in the event of a pandemic. And don't pay attention to the fact that the WHO redefined what a pandemic is so that nobody necessarily needs to die in order for a pandemic to be declared. That's just a technicality and won't be abused at all. The experts who think this is a good idea may technically be responsible for millions of deaths across the globe, but that was before the science changed. And this disease, which once again has a high survivability rate, will most likely lock us back inside our homes while we cower in fear over this new pandemic. And unlike the last pandemic, we have trapper keepers full of scientific information to keep us safe. We're just gonna do what we did the last time, except this time there'll be no gas, no food, power, running water, or money to keep us safe. But don't worry, you'll still be required to wear a mask and hide behind plexiglass shields and socially distance and be forced to take injections every 6 months in order to partake in society. And just because there's literally no scientific data to prove that any of the above things actually work in combating any kind of virus in any capacity, just do it anyway. We gotta keep grandma alive long enough for your governor to throw her into a nursing home so she can die of the very disease they're trying to save her from. So stop being a selfish prick and do as you're told, you fucking murderer. And remember to allow our celebrities, CEOs, and politicians to be able to relax without any restrictions that are inevitably going to be thrust upon us. They're gonna be exhausted telling us what we're not allowed to do, so they're gonna have to get haircuts when we can't. They're gonna have to be able to dance at bars and go on vacations to exotic locales without restrictions. It's only fair. Besides, there's an easier way to deal with this. Just blindly do as they say, take whatever injection they demand, give up your guns, and they'll leave you alone. It'll work this time. Nancy Pelosi is gonna pinky swear it. Don't think of it as losing your freedom. Think of it more like letting your dad take over driving because you're too drunk on disinformation. Because if you're too irresponsible to put down the liquor of medical misinformation, then you don't deserve to have your freedom, do you? No, you most certainly do not.
What is up, Mahones? Arston the Unclean here. Gonna take a moment or three to say thank you for checking out the new video. If you think this world is being run by a bunch of war criminals, then I deem you correct and kindly invite you to hit that like and subscribe button below. Feel free to start up a disagreement with me in the comment section as well. Today's subject is credenzas. I got a lot of interesting information for this video courtesy of Dave Cullen over at Computing Forever. YouTube hated this Irish bastard so much that they booted him off the site. You can still find him over on Bitchute, so please give him your support. And as always, thank you for caring, and I'll see you in the gulag.